Ladies and gentlemen, rise and shine. Welcome back to another edition of Rise. And what a night we have for you. We are on the road to Extreme Chaos 7. Tonight in our main event, a huge tag team contest. The Rider teams up with the world champion Bdubzz to take on the Rumble winner Kholoki and the holder of the Pandora's box, Rock. Before then, Tom Tucker will be backstage, and he's going to be interviewing All Heart Milky to see what he says in response to Matty's so-called challenge the other week. And of course, the Iron Man champion Matt the Prophet will go face-to-face with the franchise Ultimate. But kicking us off tonight, we are going to be hearing from the Supernova, Jasper. I, of course, am Omega, and I will be joined tonight by Jasper. Jasper, how are we feeling for tonight?
I am absolutely ecstatic. I can't wait for the show. It's always good to be here in the beautiful Sunrise Center, but let's get right into it.
There you see the Supernova Jasper, of course. Last episode of Rise, you would see him in the main event with Pico. Following that, Saints would extend an invitation, it seemed, to what looked like the Steel City Saints to Jasper. Jasper would decline, but Pico would take his hand, would turn on Jasper, would turn on the fans, and it looks Pico is the inaugural member of this. What went down after that match? Let's hear what he's got to say.
You know, you're probably expecting me to come out here, after last week's events and offer Pico some, compassion or a second chance, but no, none of that. Pico, you threw away the most valuable thing in this industry. And that's this crowd. These people, the heart and fuel to my flame. You threw away your morals and the things you stood for the smallest chance of just a little bit of success. But for what? You ever think why Saints is so delusional? Why he thinks the way we wrestle isn't effective? Because that unathletic and talentless fat ass can do anything in his career other than run at people and hit a big boot. Listen, I'm not trying to please the fans. They just respect me because I never once showed any hint of stabbing him in the back. I stayed true to my morals and I worked hard. And, unlike you, Pico, I have something more to offer other than a cool look. But, okay. Listen. If you really think this is the way to go, throwing the heart and fuel of this industry and going all brutal, then let's see you pull it off. Face me at XE and let me beat some sense into you for the third time this run so I can get rid of the Saints before he brainwashes any other poor wrestler desperate for any relevance.
Oh, and it seems to me like Jasper's going to get a response tonight. Maybe not from Pico, but maybe from that man right there. The leader of the Steel City Saints. And of course, Pico behind him. Saints, a microphone in his hand. And I think the Beast has a response to Jasper's challenge.
Calm down. God above, Jasper. Who pissed in your cereal today? You see, last time I saw you, I gave you the opportunity to be a part of my historic group on a shiny silver platter with the guarantee of greatness handed to you by yours truly. But you know better, right? You know that you have to earn your way to the top. Is that your mindset? Is that who you really are? Throwing away history just to get yourself a cheap woo from a crowd who are just not worth it? Pico here, he knew better. He knew what he wanted. He knew the bite he could take out of this company and leave a permanent mark in Minecraft wrestling history forever. He is the one smart enough and good enough to do what is necessary to take himself one step closer to legendary status. You see, that I'm good you said right in front of my face was a declaration of war. Or maybe it was just you simply having the balls to spit them words in my face and officially sign your death warrant. Who knows? But despite the reason behind you declining my offer, it has now made me realise that some of the so-called stars in the back are beyond help and just simply need putting down. You, Jasper, are one of them. Now, I didn't want this to happen. I liked you, Jasper. I wanted what was best for you, to let you climb the ladder with my help and for you to achieve whatever your heart desires. But now Pico is the person who took the opportunity and is now on his way to becoming something more. You want to fight him? You want to go one-on-one with Pico at Extreme Chaos? I can tell you are ready to go, but the Steel City Saints have one issue with your challenge. Or should I say, one problem.
Hey, look at the ring behind! Oh my god, flashbang! That's Steve! Steve just laid out the supernova now! Is Steve a member of the Steel City Saints too? Dear Lord, Steve has laid out Jasper from behind. A cheap shot, and I'm sure Saints has orchestrated all of this. Oh, look at Pico now laying it in. Oh, look at Doppel! Doppel's out here. What the hell's happening? Doppel, Kendo stick in his hand, clearing the ring for his former friend. I'm not sure what's going on. Doppel seemingly has come to the aid of Jasper to fend off the Steel City Saints. Saints, Pico, the newest member from the looks of it, and Steve. Doppel, something I never thought I'd see, coming to the aid of Jasper. And let's take a look here. Trying to use Doppel to get back to his feet, and I'm not sure what we're seeing here. I mean, think of the history these two have. Hey! Oh, come on. It was too good to be true, wasn't it? Jasper there wanted to embrace Doppel, his former best friend. He came to his aid, and he just shoved him back down. Nevertheless, Doppel, a noble deed he did tonight, and coming out and fending off against the Steel City Saints in aid of Jasper. But what is the relationship between these two at this very moment?
Hey, Taco. Welcome to the Smoke Show, Taco. And as you saw last week on Rise, I pinned you to help my best buddy Doppel over there. And I think after I got such a huge pin over the icon, the NWC Junior Champion, I think there's something else that needs to be said that I need to tell you, that I think I need to tell the whole world, actually. Ugh. Oh, it's a little messed up now. Sorry. But, Taco, I invite you next week into my world. I invite you into my car. And I say, let's have a little chat. I'll tell you what needs to be said. And we could hotbox. Let's call it hotboxing with Nuck. So, Taco, what do you say next week?
And of course, here you see the Iron Man champion making his way out. A huge face-to-face we have here up next. The Prophet looks amongst the crowd here at Sunrise Center as he prepares to face off with the franchise Ultimate. Anything can happen tonight, and we are going to see tensions could explode. Who knows? Only one way to find out. The Prophet microphone in hand, and looks like we're going to be awaiting the entrance of the franchise.
Locked away. Didn't perform how I wanted to. Spend a lot of time walking around with this mask of confidence on my face. I joke around. I act unbothered. But it take a second to get real. Behind this mask, desperate, prideful man. I came back because I love doing this. I know deep down within myself, the real reason I came back was nothing but pride. Beginning stages of my career, I was being told I was the greatest prodigy to ever walk through the headquarter doors. I was being given opportunity upon opportunity. I was rubbing shoulders with greats, and it got to my head. I was comfortable being admired. Then, like everything, time passed, and I wasn't. People got better. I was no longer special. I had to come to grips with the fact that I was no prodigy at all. I was a kid who got lucky. Like I've said since coming back, I wasn't going to wallow. That sick pride inside me dragged me back to this industry so I could rise again, so I could test myself against the best and see where I actually stood. At Kholoki, he's the future. He's a guy I watched go from the bottom of this industry to reach the mountaintop we all hunt after. I just barely beat him. I was this close. It took all I had, and honestly, I was lucky. I had knowledge on how he worked. I saw him develop. He didn't get to see me work. I took him by surprise. I walked out with what matters to me the most, this title. And then there was Steve. He's the present. He represents everything I've missed out on these past couple of years. The development, the hard work. And ignorantly, I told myself he wouldn't be a problem. Peaks I have, how could Steve be a problem to me? I got destroyed. Got broken down. And at the end, the only thing that saved me was the clock. He had me in that crack and lock, and I realized I couldn't escape. The only thing that saved my pride was the clock running out, and I lay there in pain, realizing I was never a prodigy. I'm not a legend. I'm not one of the best. That was all fake. It was all in my head. I could barely stand up to Steve. How could I stand up to any of the other guys up top? And then, you know whose music played? Ultimate. Past. A man others look at as the greatest of all time. A man with a reputation few will ever have. He has respect, achievement, acknowledgement. Is everything I ever wanted and I looked up to. He came and he had to save me. We locked eyes. I saw a look of pity on his face, a look that told me I'd fallen from my pedestal. It showed that there's still distance between me and him. It reminded me I never had my time at the top. I never worked in the pressure he worked. And he grabbed my championship with intent. He insists his intentions are pure. He was helping me, but I know hunger. I know greed. Want this old? Look at me in the eye and tell me you want it.
We heard from the prophet, and you heard that closing statement. If you want this, look me in the eyes and tell me it's so. And it looks to me like the franchise is going to make his presence known once more here on Rise. Heard from him on the last episode, but here he looks among the crowd here inside Rise Center as he marches towards the ramp where the Iron Man champion stands. Makes his way around ringside, grabs the microphone of his own, and it looks to me like Matt is going to get his answer on if Ultimate truly wants this. Let's hear what the franchise has got to say.
You know, Matt, thank you for those nice compliments about me. You know, I do hold myself up to a high standard. And I even remember all those years ago when I came back to this company all the way back in 2016. And I went onto the crowd and watched from afar. And I waited for the world champion to come out. I thought to myself, it's probably Milky. It's probably Saints. I didn't know. I wasn't following the product that much. But you can imagine my surprise when I see a guy that I didn't even know existed come out, wear that championship around their waist. And that was you, Matt. In your first month or so here, as you said that you were held in such high standard at the start, you had already reached the top, already the world champion. Hell, you even did it twice in just your first few months. And you know, that's been the pattern of your whole career. You know, you've won the world championship twice, been the tag team champion twice, and you probably had one of the most memorable reigns as the universal champion in history. Your journey to the top was fast, but the aftermath saw you never reach those heights again, didn't it? Because when it mattered most, when the pressure was applied, you either failed or you bailed. Because let's be real here. Sure, you've won the World Championship twice, but how long did you hold it in total? Probably about 3 weeks, and maybe 5 minutes in the other. And hey, quite relevant that we're on the road to Extreme Chaos. Tell me, have you ever won at Extreme Chaos? As far as I know, you've 3 matches, 3 losses to your name. And I remember that day, that event, when I lost in my retirement match and I left here. That was the same night you lost in a World Championship match. And you know what you did? You bailed. You bailed for 4.5 years. It was 4.5 years before you decided to step foot back in this company again. For most people, it's 1 or 2 years. But why did you... I have a question. Why did it take so long for you to come back here? Are you worried about failing again when it really matters? You know, let's be fully clear here. I do think you're a good talent. A great wrestler, great on the mic. Anything you do, you've shown that you excel at it. But I'll be honest, Matt. You can ask every single audience member here today. You can ask anyone watching at home. Or hell, you can even ask any of them in the back. If you were to approach them and ask them, hey, name your top 5 wrestlers of all time, there's a good chance you're not even on any of their lists. So, I'll give you a chance, Matt. I do want that Iron Man championship. It's been a while since I've held gold in this company. I've tried a few times, and I failed. But I have to ask you, you've had tough competitions in Kholoki and Steve. You've barely, as you said yourself, barely beaten them. I'm up for the challenge. But I just want to make sure, are you okay with going up against me?
Everything you said was correct. No, you think you're better than me. No, they think you're better than me. I even think myself, I think you're better than me. That's a hurdle I have to leap over. I have to stop worrying about top 5 lists. I don't care where I'm going to get ranked. I just care how I feel about my own career. And I did wait 4.5 years because I was scared. But now I'm here. I'm champ, and I'm ready to face that pathetic, little insecure part of myself. It's going to be by beating you. I hold your shoulders to the mat for the 1, 2, 3. It's going to be the time to declare I am at the top. It's not a prediction. It's a promise from the prophet. Accept your challenge.
And it looks to me like our match for the Iron Man Championship come Extreme Chaos 7 is set. The franchise ultimate will be challenging the Prophet, Matt. And what a match that is set to be come XC7 June 24th. Matt looks to shut down that part of himself that doesn't believe he can get the job done when it matters most, as he looks to put down one of the best of all time on the grandest stage of them all.
Good evening, folks. This is Tom Tucker. Joining me at this time, Milky. Milky, I must ask you a question. How are you feeling after that devastating chamber?
Well, first, I would like to congratulate Bdubzz on his successful first defense. You know, if there was any doubt that he could be a world champion, there should be no doubts any longer after beating 5 of the very best this industry has to offer in a match like that. I won't stand here and say what could have been or give excuses as to why I lost. That's just not how I do things. Bdubzz was the better man that night. I wish him nothing but the best, and I look forward to when our paths cross again, because, you know, it will in time.
We all hope so. What a match that would be. Now, I must ask. Matty cut a very disturbing promo last week, talking about you and a potential match at Extreme Chaos. What is your response?
I don't want to spend too much time on this because, to be quite honest with you, I don't know what to say. I mean, just look at him. The man looks like he hasn't showered in weeks. He could barely even walk to the ring, let alone stand on his own 2 feet, and is living in his own delusions. He's developed this weird obsession with me, wants me to put him out of his misery, so to speak, give him his last art piece. I don't know how all of this sounds to you, Tom, but to me, this sounds like a man who's lost his mind. Now, I know there are a lot of people who want me to accept Matty's challenge for XC, to put an end to a man who has done so much harm this past year. But to tell you the truth, I have no interest. It's not that I'm afraid of him, it's just that it's clear this man needs help more than he needs to be in a ring. With that, it still leaves my path to XC unclear, but who knows? Maybe a rising star will step up, maybe another return perhaps, or maybe even you, Tom. I mean, you're not exactly in shape, but I'm sure a few trips to the gym could sort that out. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think I would fare too well. But anyways, good luck at Extreme Chaos and finding your opponent. Back to you, commentary.
Alright, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna see this man come out every rise. Unfortunately, it's the briefcase holder. Here's Ruck. I guess him and Ryder are far from done. And there comes his tag team partner, Kholoki, making his way down to the ring. What a pairing. Very dangerous duo, Ruck and Kholoki. Let's see what they can come up with, how the two styles can combine. Kholoki paying no attention to Ruck. I mean, Ruck could be a threat to him in the future. I mean, if Kholoki wins that title out of sea, you know, that briefcase is going to be very, very dangerous. Kholoki could be staring his future opponent in the eye, but I guess we'll see on June 24th. But here's the man that got his mask absolutely ripped apart by Rock and locked away, but making his way down to the ring. sporting up a bit of a new look after his last mask got absolutely decimated by Rock. Ryder obviously not going to be too happy about that, but here comes his partner, the NWC World Heavyweight Champion, the Golden Bear. Here we go, Golden Age now. Bdubzz making his way down to the ring alongside Ryder. Golden Age now. Staring down their opponents in Rock and Kholoki. I wonder how Rock will handle having some new tag partner that isn't Matty. Those two have been working on their game together, but you know, we'll see if he can transfer everything that he's learned and do it with Kholoki. But these two are as sharp as they've always been, continuously working together non-stop. Very dangerous duo, Golden Age now. As Bdubzz steps over the top rope. The dynamic duo of high-flying action from Ryder and the brute strength of Bdubzz.
Here we are. We are about to end things off tonight. This big tag team main event. Omega here joined with Rock. What a match we're about to watch.
Yeah, and take a look here. The referee's asking both guys if they're ready, and Rock is kind of blowing him off a little bit.
Yeah, not facing the center of the ring. Maybe not taking this match as seriously as he should. At least when it comes to Bdubzz, we know he wants to get his hands on Ryder. And you hear him there. He says, well, yeah, you heard him. He said he was going to try to tear Omega apart, but he turned around and was met with the world champion. Definitely not what he was expecting.
Definitely not. That's been an ongoing thing with Rock. He is definitely a little intimidated by the Golden Bear for sure.
There you see, tagging out to the Ghost Rider, the winner of the Rumble match back at Horizon. And we're about to see a preview of the main event come Extreme Chaos 7. And look at that underneath the clothesline, a hold of the neck here. Has Bdubzz where he wants him early on. Bdubzz, though, slips behind. Waistlock of his own.
These two know each other's offense very well. A very similar style between both these two individuals.
And they're getting a taste of one another going into XC. Look at that. Went for the backdrop. Kholoki drops into the headlock, wrenching it in here. Bdubzz, though, using that strength, starting to pry his arms apart. Taking Kholoki with him, backing him towards the ropes. And look at that. Finally shoves him off to the ropes. Here he comes, and look at that. Both men collide with the shoulder tackle.
These two are like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
They both stay standing. Goes for the lariat. Bdubzz blocks it there. Take a look at that. Winds his arms back. Looking for the Mongolian chop. Kholoki gets his arm up. Leaps up there. Catches Bdubzz on the jaw with that knee. Oh, and finally gets that shoulder tackle there. A solo one. And is able to ground the Ghost Rider. A little bit of taunting there, too, as both men stare off.
Jeez, what a hot start.
And they're going to start circling the ring here. A great preview heading into Extreme Chaos 7. Going to see them go at it once again. But now, listen to Ryder there. Has his hand out there. Looks like he wants in the match.
He wants his turn. And look at Rock.
And, of course, Rock sees his prey, sees his moment to strike. And I think Kholoki, not exactly excited to be tagging out, but and in comes the holder of the Pandora's box and wants nothing more than to get his hands on Ryder. And look at that, charges towards him. Ryder out of the way, and now laying in the heavy leather in the corner.
And Rock, this whole story with him and Ryder, I feel like Rock just keeps letting his anger kind of get the best of him. All Ryder really had to do there was just step out of the way, almost like a bull seeing red.
And of course, Rock, not exactly thinking stable thoughts. All he wants to do is hurt Ryder, or if you ask him, Omega. And look at this, just laying in the stomps as he tags in the Golden Bear. Dangerous predicament for the standard here. Kholoki just watching on, obviously not excited. Knows Rock got himself into this mess. Look at Bdubzz hook of Rock's head. Gonna lift him up, vertical suplex position, Ryder off the ropes, and look at that rocket kick. Drops him with the suplex. Little tandem offense there from the Golden Age.
Yeah. Early on in this match, you could definitely tell a big thing that's going to be in Bdubzz and Ryder's favor is they are working like an actual team here. Kholoki and Rock are very much so two individuals who have not really seen eye to eye for the majority of this entire run.
There we go, the tag made to the Ryder once again. Both men send Rock to the ropes, and there he goes, double hip toss. Sent down, and like you said, Bdubzz, the Ryder, working like a tag team. There they go to the ropes, and both men, one to the temple, one right to the nose. Those double basement drop kicks. Hook of the leg, and Rock able to kick out once again.
Something to remember about Rock and Kholoki is the final two of this year's Rumble was Rock and Kholoki. So you got to imagine there's some animosity that Rock probably views Kholoki as a man who stood between him and headlining this year's Extreme Chaos.
Definitely curious to see what the relationship is with these two, how they're going to coexist as this match continues. Sends him to the ropes, but Rocket reverse hit there, and as Ryder hits the ropes, Kholoki there with a cheap knee strike. And oh my god, shoves him off the apron there, making sure Kholoki stays out of this. Here comes Rock, boom, catches him with a jab. Trying to fight off both men at the same time. And look at Kholoki here, pulling Ryder out of the ring. Look at this, looking for a strike there. Ryder able to avoid it there, catches his arm. Oh, leaps up big neck breaker. Ryder here fighting off the odds, it looks like.
Yeah, he's in the wrong part of town right now, but he's fighting hard.
Back into the ring, and look at Rock there. As per usual, a cheap shortcut there at the hands of the Pandora's box holder. Kicks the ropes, and of course a low blow by association. But saying it's just the inner thigh, I mean...
I don't know about that. That rope looked like it went pretty straight up, if you ask me.
And look at that, punch right to the face here, and now Rock has finally gotten what he's wanted. He has his hands on the Ryder, and look how far Bdubzz is from his tag partner.
You got to give it to Rock and Kholoki here. This is smart tag team wrestling. They've got Ryder in their corner. There's nowhere for him to go right now.
Look at this, holding him against the ropes. Kholoki on the outside too, and Rock with that knee against the back of his neck. They're choking him on the ropes here. Nowhere for him to go, and the referee having to back Rock off. Trying to help out the Ryder here, but look at Kholoki on the apron, still just choking Ryder against the ropes.
These two know how to play the rules.
And the best part about it in their minds, Bdubzz is as far away as possible. And there we go. Finally, letting go of his throat. You hear Ryder coughing there, being choked against the ropes for as long as he was. And now Rock has a hold of Ryder in the corner. Tag to Kholoki. Looks like these two are working a little bit better than they were before.
Yeah, they're definitely on the same page right now for sure.
One common enemy, that being the Golden Age tonight, as Kholoki lays in the strikes here. Has Ryder stumbling, whips him across the ring. Here he comes, big knee. Sends him down to the mat. And look at this, wasting no time, cutting the ring in half, sending him back to Rock's corner.
That's just smart tag team wrestling.
Wants to keep him as far from the world champion as possible. Back elbow there. Big elbow right afterwards. Kholoki laying in the strikes on the Ryder. Nowhere for him to go right now. And you hear Rock a little jaw-jacking as per usual. Finally gets the tag and right back into the ring. You know Rock's going to love every second of this. Oh, big uppercut.
I mean, at all times, the way Rock and Kholoki are wrestling right now, there is a man standing between him and his partner Bdubzz on the apron. There's simply an impenetrable wall between him and tagging his partner.
Definitely going to need some sort of a miracle if he wants to reach the World Heavyweight Champion with the predicament he's in right now. And look at this here. Oh my God. Just punching Ryder at the head. Come on here. Top of the head. Over and over and over again. Come on. And look at that. Look at that. before the ref can get in there. Kholoki, the Rumble winner, backing up Rock there. I think he knows just as much as we do. He was going to get disqualified there in a moment.
And now we're seeing this come to pass. These two.
Rock's.
I think Rock just called Kholoki by his first name.
Obviously, we're not supposed to call him that. I mean, it's in our contract, but I don't think Rock cares about that right now. His emotions getting the best of him, and it's obvious. Oh, look at that Ryder from behind. Rock sent into Kholoki there. And I think this might be the opening he's been looking for.
Crowd's starting to come up here.
He's got Rock stirring here. Has his eyes locked on his prey once again towards Ryder. Ryder gets the boot up here. Has a little bit of light. Here comes Kholoki, and Ryder pulls down the ropes. Oh my god, only thing standing between him and Bdubzz is Rock. Throws the clothesline underneath, and in comes the world champion. Oh, lariat to the standard. Here's another one. Oh, Bdubzz is ready. Been waiting. All this match has seen his partner get the life kicked out of it, and now coming to his aid has Rock where he wants him. Here he comes. Big splash in the corner, and Rock is in no man's land.
Similarly to what was happening to Ryder before, Rock is in the wrong part of town.
Oh my god, a little taste of his own medicine, like you said. Big Mongolian chop across the pecs of Rock. A hold of his wrist now. Gonna look for that big backdrop suplex. Rock doesn't no clue where he is. Down he goes. Big suplex.
The strength.
And a move like that could lead to the end. Kholoki barely stirring. Can that be all they need? No, Rock able to kick out.
Jeez. Bdubzz literally just grabbed Rock, seated position on the ground by the wrist, and threw him up in the air high enough to where he could catch him with that suplex. That was absolutely incredible.
Rock, not a small man, 230 pounds. But, of course, Bdubzz, one of the strongest pound for pound on this wrestler, now making the tag out to his buddy, the Ryder. Has him in the suplex position, calls for it, drawbridge connects the palm strike into that German suplex. And I think
that's gotta be it.
That's gonna be all she wrote for the standard in the Ghost Rider. And speaking of which, Kholoki finally getting to his senses, leaps in there to break things up. Toho! Revelations! He just drilled Ryder with that big time lariat as he sends Bdubzz off the apron. Has a hold of Rock, just dragging him to his corner, and look at that, holding his own hand up, slaps it, tags himself in, and now look at this, wasting no time, slides out of the ring, and is now just meleeing with the world champion at ringside.
Recognizing what a threat Bdubzz has been in this match, he is just going in on his Extreme Chaos opponent.
Both men just throwing strikes at ringside here. Kholoki, of course, the legal man, Ryder as well, but Kholoki a little occupied on the outside with the Golden Bear. They're just laying it in here.
These two hit hard. That is something you could say about both men.
Just over and over again, neither men letting up. And you know, this intensity, this brutality is exactly what we are going to see come Extreme Chaos. That is, if these two men don't injure one another before we get there. Just laying it in.
Down.
Absolute chaos. The referee knows better. He knows he cannot contain these two men. But he's trying to call for them back into the ring. At least Kholoki, the legal man, alongside Ryder, just over and over again, just punches the elbows, striking.
I think Ryder's probably still feeling the effects of that Revelations lariat earlier on.
Most definitely, but you see Rock stirring on the apron. Ryder still looks like he has no clue where he is, but look at Kholoki against the barricade, and I think Bdubzz has pain on his mind. He's got the Ghost Rider where he wants him. No way, he's looking for a spear. Here he comes, and Kholoki out of the way, and Bdubzz drills himself through the barricade right into the timekeeper's area.
Those barricades are made to keep human bodies from getting into the ringside area, and Bdubzz just went barreling through
and
it.
take a look. You see Ryder there checking on his friend, the world champion. And look from behind there, Rock knees him in the back. Ryder folding through the ropes out onto the apron, and Rock following behind him. This is a dangerous position for both men. Most importantly, Ryder, because you know what Rock wants to do to him. Has him up. CTE. Oh, he slides down, hold of the hammerlock. Maybe the dead man's hand on the apron. Has him where he wants him, spins him out with a hold of the wrist. And look at that. Rock gets the boot up. Oh! And look at that, Ryder. Shoulder first into the post, and Rock has him up again. CTE on the apron.
That. Oh my goodness.
Rock has no care for that man's well-being. Drops him on his head, and look at Kholoki. Gonna pick the scraps. Tuck of the head, packages him in. Overkill. And if there was a word better to describe what the Ryder just went through, I don't know it. Hook of the leg. And Kholoki picks up the victory for him and Rock.
I gotta say here, Omega, the one thing I'm concerned about right now, the head of the Ryder. I mean, a brain buster on the apron and then a package pile driver to follow it up right after. The brain of the Ryder just got ransacked.
I mean, overkill was the perfect word to describe it. I think Ryder's been through more than he could chew. But nevertheless, Kholoki and Rock with a victory. And now you see the standard here. He's calling the ref into the ring. It's almost like he's checking on the well-being of the Ryder.
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of what Rock said there. I think he was asking the referee if Ryder is still breathing.
I mean, you see him moving there, and and look at that! And if it wasn't obvious before, Rock has no care for his well-being.
It looks like Rock was just checking to see if the job was done, and I guess when he saw the Ryder cough there, he realized whatever his mission is not complete.
Saw the Ryder was still breathing, some way, shape, or form, still alive, to say the least.
The referee back,
and oh my God, just laying it in on the Ryder. The match is over here. Not letting up. You know, all Rock wants to do is hurt this man, to hurt the Ryder. And here comes the Golden Bear, steel chair in hand. And out of the ring goes Rock. You know, Rock, terrified of Bdubzz, wants no part of that, especially when the man has a steel chair in his hand. Well, it looks to me like Bdubzz has come to the aid of the Ryder, and thank the Lord.
Oh yeah, Rock and Kholoki are out of here. They want nothing to do with this.
Wasted no time, and we take a look at this. I mean, and look, whoa! You see how Ryder just reacted right there. He saw Bdubzz with the chair in his hand, and he freaked out a little. You see that? What's going on?
I'm not exactly sure what's going on here at all. Not again.
I mean, he very obviously was not a fan of that chair in Bdubzz' hand behind him while he was sitting down. I'm not sure what's happening right now.
Ryder's losing it a little bit.
Just scared. He saw Bdubzz with that chair. I'm not sure what's going on. Well, nevertheless, Extreme Chaos is on the horizon. We just saw a preview of the World Championship match there, Bdubzz and Kholoki, and I'm sure there is more to be discussed when it comes to the Ryder and Rock. That, of course, for a later date, but nevertheless, thank you all for joining us tonight on Rise. I've been Omega. This is Rock next to me. We're on the road to Extreme Chaos. We'll see ya.
Good evening, folks. This is Tom Tucker. We're hearing reports that Rock is about to leave the arena. We're wondering if we can get a quick word from him when he comes outside. Rock. Any chance we can get a statement from you?
You want a word, Tom? You want a goddamn word? I'll give you a word. I was about to rip Omega apart. and that juice head of a world champion, Bdubzz, got into my business one last time. So Omega, I heard your little promo. You want to match at XC, you want to wrestle at XC, fine. But I don't want any involvement from Bdubzz or anyone else on this roster. So we'll fight, sure. But we're gonna do it in a cage of hell. And listen to me when I tell you, Omega. You just signed your own death warrant.